Welcome to NEXTGames, a guide to ninja series. This episode covering Elite Blade Kamu Gearsets. In this video, I'll give you an overview of Blade Kamu, a comparison to other weapon skills, tell you which situations you'll use it in, and then show you all of the gear that you will use in your Elite Blade Kamu gearset. Now, Blade Kamu is the weakest of all of Ninja's endgame weapon skills. However, you still may find yourself in situations where you may need to use it. It is a single target weapon skill that has an FTP of 1. It will blind your enemy when it lands for 60 to 180 seconds depending on your TP level, but it's only an accuracy reduction of 10, so it's not very potent. It has fragmentation and compression skill chain properties. Now, Blade Kamu's modifiers are 60% strength and 60% intelligence. It also has an attack modifier on it that boosts your attack by 125% and lowers the enemy's defense by 25%. This equates to an attack multiplier of 3, which means this weapon skill has a nice attack boost on it similar to Blade Shun, but that also means that you will attack cap on it much sooner, which makes it so it doesn't respond as well to buffs as some of the other weapon skills. Its best damage will be achieved with the Nagi weapon, as it will give you a 30% Blade Kamu boost to its damage, and its aftermath will allow you to hit twice, 40% of the time, and thrice, 20% of the time. The best offhand weapon ends up being the Turnian +1 augmented from Odyssey, with its triple attack and weapon skill damage, which are both crucial to Kamu's damage output. This is my second Blade Kamu video. In my first Blade Kamu video, I had mentioned that Blade Kamu damage in the spreadsheet didn't seem to match what people had seen in real life. The main person to point this out was Capuchin, who had recently finished his Nagi and noticed the damage was substantially higher than he had expected. Shortly after the release of that video, Simon Says pointed out that he found a flaw in the way Kamu damage is calculated on the spreadsheet. Langley was quick to apply a fix, and we now have corrected Blade Kamu numbers, and it makes a big difference on when it is you're supposed to use this weapon skill. Let's look at the numbers. Now I'm going to start with dual wield 40 situations. So in this situation you have no trust out and no buffs of any kind, and you have dual wield 40 out so that you're maximizing your weapon delay. In this situation, Blade Kamu is number 1 in DPS at 1633 DPS, and it has the ability to self-light skill chain with Shun. It is followed by He and then Shun, which are practically tied, and then coming up in the rear is Metsu, Ten, and then Ku. So in this situation, it is clear that you will actually achieve the best damage by using Blade Kamu. Now let's move on to a trust situation. Here we have our usual trust out, so all of our weapon delay is automatically capped, therefore we don't need any dual wield gear. And in this kind of situation, Blade Shun is our best option with 2518 DPS, obviously with the ability to self-light skill chain with the Hishi Shiroken. However, Kamu is in second place right behind it, and over 300 damage more than Blade He, which is usually fairly close to Shun in damage, so it really goes to show that Kamu is still a big contender here when you're using trust, and actually will outperform Blade He. Right behind Blade He is Blade Metsu, followed by Ten, and then Blade Ku there all the way down at 1678 DPS. This brings us to a capped buff situation. Now here, as always, Blade 10 is king at 6960 DPS, which I'll point out is now being achieved with the Hishi Turnian +1 combo and not the Hitaki. Blade He comes up in second place at 6572. Blade Metsu is right behind it at 6428, and then there is a sharp drop-off. In fourth at 5800 DPS is Ku, and then Shun at 4700, and lastly Kamu at 3687 DPS. Now what this really emphasizes is that really the main benefit of using Kamu and Shun is the huge attack boost you get from using those weapon skills and their associated weapons. However, once you are attack capped through other methods, none of those buffs from the weapon skills and weapons will be of any use to you, and therefore they fall substantially behind. It also suffers thanks to its extremely low FTP of 1.0. So in an unbuffed situation, Kamu can be extremely effective. It can also be a useful linker in light skill chains, which Ninja has few options to achieve. the best options include: first, if you don't have a Hishi Shuriken, then Blade Kamu followed by Blade Shun is your best way to make a self-light skill chain. 2, if you do have a Hishi Shuriken, then Blade Kamu opens lots of multi-step light skill chain and radiant skill chain possibilities for you, including Blade 10, followed by Blade Kamu, followed by Blade Shun, or 10, Kamu, Shun, Shun, which can create a radiance. Since Blade Shun also gets a nice boost to its attack, these two weapon skills complement each other well in non-cap situations. For stat priorities, in an uncapped situation, you want to focus on strength, then attack, then weapon skill damage, multi-attack, and then lastly intelligence. In a cap situation, you want to focus on multi-attack first, followed by weapon skill damage, then strength, then intelligence. Let's go ahead and look at what the gear setups look like for both capped and trust situations. For the main weapon, as already stated, in both trust and cap situations, you definitely want to use the Nagi. Due to its Blade Kamu damage plus 30% stat, in addition, its Aftermath will have you either hit twice 40% of the time or thrice 20% of the time. Now for our offhand weapon, we end up using the exact same weapon for both trust and cap situations once again. This time, the Turnian Dagger plus 1 is what you'd want to use, augmented through Odyssey. Next, we move on to the ammo slot, where you want to use the Seething Bomblet plus 1, augmented through Odyssey in both trust and cap situations. Next, the head slot. Here we use the same piece of gear in both trust and cap situations, which is the Hachiya Hatsuburi plus 3. Now in a trust situation, we could substitute the Mochizuki Hatsuburi plus 3 and only lose a single DPS, or the Edamar Bonnet plus 1 and only lose 3 DPS. However, in a cap situation, there is no alternative. You definitely want to use that Hatsuburi plus 3. For the next slot, we want to use the Ninja Nodowa plus 2, augmented to rank 25 in both trust and cap situations. Now for earrings, you want to use the Balder Earring plus 1 in your left ear in both trust and cap situations, and the Lugra Earring plus 1 in your right ear in both trust and cap situations once again, making sure to augment it through Odyssey. For the body slot, we utilize a piece of armor that has just recently become available, the Tatanashi Haramaki plus 1, augmented through Odyssey. This is definitely the best option in both situations. Now this can be difficult to get your hands on, so if you can't get one, the Agony Jerkin plus 1 is your best option in a trust situation, and Kendatsuba plus 1 will be your best option in a capped situation until you get this body piece. Now for the hand slot, you want to use Herculean gloves with the augments of strength 10 and triple attack 4% on them. Now if you can't happen to get these augments, another alternative in both situations would be to go with the Mochizuki Tekko plus 3 as a good alternative in a trust situation, and the Malignance gloves in a good alternative for a capped situation. Next, let's talk about the rings, where we use the exact same 2 rings in both situations. In the left finger, you want to use the Epona's ring. In the right finger, you want to make sure you use the gear rating, both options adding a significant amount of multi-attack. For our back piece, it's the Andartia's mantle, like always. This one with the augments of strength 30, accuracy 20, attack 20, and weapon skill damage plus 10%. For the waist slot, there is only a single option for both trust and cap situations, and that is the Salifi belt plus 1, augmented with strength plus 15 and double attack plus 5%. Next, the leg slot, where you will want to use the new item that's available to us, the Tatanashi Hate plus 1, in both trust and cap situations. And remembering to upgrade it through Odyssey Shield C for an extra 60 accuracy, extra 10 boost to all of your stats, and an extra 3 triple attack. Now, for our boots. In this situation, you want to use Herculean boots, augmented with 10 strength and 4 triple attack. Now, if you can't happen to get these augments, a good alternative is the Tatanashi Tsunate plus 1, augmented through Odyssey, will be your next best option. Well, that'll be it for the revisited Blade Kamu video. I'm sorry it took 2 videos to get it right, but I hope this clarifies things, and I hope you found that helpful. I'm going to put a link to all of my spreadsheets that have all been updated with the latest changes at the description for this video. The next video I'll be covering will be Blade Chi and 2 in the same video, as you will use the same gear set for both. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay safe and stay healthy.